That's all I know how to do.
Great.
Good to be here.
Welcome to Tuesdays with
Stories.
Hit her in the face with a surfboard.
And then the duck fell out of his bag.
Surf's up. And she didn't even flush.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Mark Norman and Joe List.
Yeah! This is Tuesdays with Stories, everybody.
Nah, that's terrible.
This is supposed to be cheesy.
My radio is spitting at me.
Yeah! Woo-wee! Here we are, folks. It's Tuesday, holiday break, new year, new queer. What's shaking, Fatty?
Not too much. You want to get started? Should we start? I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know.
Because it was a big start.
What are you doing? You look like you're in Weinstein's hotel. What's going on there?
Well, I did just watch somebody shower, but it was myself through the mirror. How do you feel about the shower with the mirror across the way?
Not a fan. I like when the room gets foggy, and I try to get dressed and dried before the fog clears. I don't want to see that.
That's a great novel name, Before the Fog Clears.
Ooh,
right?
I like that. That's a Dickens.
I always feel like I've been great with coming up with novel names. But no, I have no talent for anything else. But
right.
Before the Fog Clears by Mark Norman. I mean, doesn't that sound like a nice page turner with a thick cover?
That's a Hemingway. I love it. What the hell is novelty? You know, people go, oh, that's a great novelty item. What? I pretend to know.
That's one of those words, you know what it means, but you don't know what it means.
Yes, exactly.
Like if somebody said...
That's very novel.
I think novelty means rare, not normal. Like a novelty horn is like... a novelty store is things that aren't... You know, you're not going to get a spatula at a novelty store. You're going to get a pair of glasses that shoots cum, you know?
Yes. Those are tough, but it's fun for the eyes to get revenge. Because they're always getting the cum. Now they can shoot it back. But I think you're right, because I love those stores. It was like dried puke, fake poo, you know, the chattering teeth, the bug in the ice cube, all that shit.
Yes. There's always cum in eyes. What is it about eyes that have all this cum?
Who are these cummers? I wonder if Asians get less cum in the eye. Oh, sorry. What do you got?
So much. I mean, we're bouncing all over. I haven't talked to you in days. Yeah. I just want to tease a thing that's not even a tease because they're not going to hear it, but I want to talk to you about a famous comedian off air because I was listening to this comedian be a guest on a podcast, and I started to get triggered going, What are you talking about? This guy talks like he's one thing, but he's a completely other thing. And I'm teasing you, but the fans can't hear this.
Why are you bringing that up if they can't hear? You're triple teasing.
Because I just thought of it, and sometimes it's fun to just tease you. I'll tease you.
All right, I'm teased. I'm tweaked. I'm intrigued.
But yes, I do think Asians, they get cum in the eye less, and also their dicks are blurred. So there's that.
True. Yeah, that's got to be weird for a lady to have a blurred dick inside you. But hey, to each his anal.
You get a quarter cum in your eye, everything's a little blurry.
Oh yeah, or brewery. But that's my favorite brewery. All right, Jesus, what the hell was I gonna say? I had something. Oh, it's gone. Novelty.
It started with the shower steam, and then we went into novelty, and then novel. We're all over the map here.
All over them. I got so much jizz here. I got so much juice I got to throw at you. I mean, this is weeks of semen. I got buckets full here.
Well, put it in my eyes, but hold on. We just got to wrap up because I don't want, because sometimes this happens.
We started.
We get into
wrap up.
We get into one thing, and then we start talking about it, and people are like, ooh, they're going to tell us how they feel about watching themselves shower, and then we go all off on the cum and the Asians.
Good point.
You got yellow fever, and then we don't come back to the steam. So we got to just bookmark novelty, and bookmark Norman, steam, and the shower, watching yourself shower.
All right, well, I'll say this about the shower. The hotel shower is always a bummer because that mirror is so well lit. You can see every dimple, blemish, cut, scrape, scratch, pockmark, Norman, you name it. And wet hair on a man, there's pubes, there's leg hair, there's arm hair, there's chest hair, there's ass hair, back hair, face hair. God, it's horrific, and we're getting older. So things are looking worse and worse. And also, I got a real problem with hotel showers. Sometimes it's just there's this negative space where the door should be because they're like too hip. So there's like we got no door, we got no rules, and the fucking floor is filthy.
Yeah, that's Europe has those. It's not even a half wall; it's like a third wall. And now USA is picking up on that. We should go for their like healthcare they got over there, but instead we're going for the half wall, which is anti-healthcare because I slip and fall and bonk my head. I bleed all over my my asshole. But
exactly. And here's another peeve of pets. What about you try to turn the water on, and you want to not get wet. But sometimes the nozzle, or whatever you call it, the knob, is so far in, you hit it, and then, bah! You're like, there's no way to hit it and not get hit by the water.
This is why I think if we were big homosexuals, I think we'd make a great pair. Because, I'd let you come all in my face and my ass. I mean, I love to fuck. I love to get fucked. I want a man to hold my ankles over my head. But in addition,
sure,
I feel the same way. I go to showers. I call in the cleaning lady and go, hey, I know this isn't your fault, but watch this. Watch me try to turn on the shower, and it is an impossibility to turn on the shower without getting my sleeves wet. And then, I understand for safety, the water starts cold and goes to hot.
Right.
But now I'm getting smashed with freezing water right on my nipples, and it's appalling.
It's appalling. It's going to rust the nipple rings. It's too much. I just want to turn the water on and take my time, read a book, light some candles, get the dildo out. But no, I'm already soaked.
Do you find that all candles smell pretty good?
Yeah. They have novelty candles that smell like farts, pussy, and taints. But that's a novelty. That's the Gwyneth Paltrow.
Right, because for the most part, I go to a candle store. Every candle I pick up, I'm like, it smells nice. That smells nice. That smells nice. Like, I've never smelt a candle and been like, yuck. Certainly I have favorites, but I've never been like, yuck, throw this away. This smells like dog shit.
That's true. Now, how about this? Because scent is the strongest sense tied to memory.
Right.
So wouldn't it suck to get diddled or beat up or molested or something while having that nice candle, burning in the windowsill, and now the room is smells like cinnamon. Every time you go to Cinnabon, you break down crying.
Great point. Now this is a good point because I was thinking you were going to go a different angle, which I thought was a good point, and I was going to say, hey, I thought the same thing. We both have good points, but now we both have the same good point. But now you got this point, and I got this point. Now I want to come back to your point. But at this point, if you get diddled and a big grown-up, an uncle or a construction guy comes on your little kid face, now for the rest of your life, anytime you smell cum, you're thinking about that. Because I smell cum, I think of like my heyday of middle school and my socks and all that stuff. Like I think of discovering orgasms and my high school boyfriend. But some of these people, they got to think about the playground trauma.
Right. That's got to be rough. And that's why, you watch these movies where a woman's been raped or whatever, and then the nice guy hooks up with her later, and she's like, I just can't. You're like, what's up with this uptight skank? And then you're like, oh, the trauma, the trigger, the scent.
Exactly, and I like your cinnamon point. I mean, there's got to be, what's the number on this? Ballpark. There's got to be 50,000 people that if they smell cinnamon, their knees buckle and they start to cry.
Exactly, yes. I mean, cinnamon, Old Spice, any kind of whatever the cologne the guy was wearing that did it, Clearwater or whatever the fuck. Beach by Calvin Klein, you name it.
Clearwater Beach.
The beach.
But anyway, all right, so you got a ton of stuff. I guess let's just start throwing jizz at each other. I mean, first of all, I miss you. It's good you're a sight for sore anal.
Great to see you, Fatty. Always a pleasure. I wanted to text you today, but I saved it all because I wanted to really get that funnel of goods going, and then right when I see on the pod, it all comes pouring out, so I saved it. But first, I got to run this by you, this nugget. So, gigs are weird. It's limited. Yeshiva University contacted me.
Is this another Jew place?
It's an all-Jewish university in Midtown, in Manhattan. There's a man's campus and a woman's campus, because, the Jews, they keep it fucking primitive, or what do you call it, prehistoric. And they said, well, the man's campus is uptown, like in the Harlem-y area, so we're going to do it at the women's campus. But They don't like dudes on the campus. So we got a real, what do you call it? When you come in, they really...
Conundrum?
Well,
Quandary?
when the guy comes in, they really...
Quarantine?
No, they got to really vet you. Vet. They got because they go, who's this chooch with the dong and the balls and the Adam's apple coming in here to the lady part area, and so it's a screening, quite a screening on the way in.
By the way, vet. There's so many meanings for vet. There's the pet police. There's the baby killers. There's the go through your pockets.
There's the veterans, the war vets.
Yes.
Corvette.
Yeah, good point. That's 4 vets.
Wait, what's the lady killer? Well, which one? The baby killer?
I said baby killer. That's what they called the Vietnam people when they came back.
Oh, I see.
It was
I
the
didn't
whole
know
thing.
that. But
you never
they
heard
are.
about that? They went, hey, you baby killer. They threw shit at them. That was like the first war where they weren't welcome back, according to the movies and everyways.
Oh, wow, man. That was a tumultuous time there, the 60s.
I mean,
and
Rambo.
70s.
And Rambo, he came back. And by the way, I was just talking about this. I want to get back to the vetting and the Jews, but
Yeah.
you ever watch Rambo? I feel like they're a little over the top with the. That's another Stallone movie, over the top. But I mean, things were a little rocky in Rambo because
He was a specialist.
I mean, it was demolition happening. But man, I mean, it's so over the top. Like, I understand, and I hate these guys that are like, you don't know what it was like, man. The veterans, the Vietnam vets, they got a lot of shit. Nobody welcomed them, like World War II. But I'm like, were they really like? He goes to jail and they're like electrocuting him and shit. They make him strip his clothes off. They're like calling him a little dick. I mean, they're outrageously mean to Rambo.
They really are. I mean, I don't blame the guy for hightailing it off to the woods.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Rambo. I mean, what kind of police force is this? I know the police are the whole thing with the police. I get it. But,
Right.
I mean, they're literally like, I can't remember the movie exactly, but they're like throwing dog shit at him. Brian Dennehy's just like sticking broken bottles in his asshole just because he's like a veteran.
That's true. Not to mention, my uncle was in Nam. He's got a toupee, a stroke cane, and a limp dick. Rambo's ripped. He's in the woods, and he can build some kind of contraption that falls down and it spikes a guy in the neck made out of wood. And you're like, well, he was in Nam. He was a vet. So what? My uncle was in Nam. He could barely program the VCR. You know what I'm saying?
Supposedly he was like the guy. He's John Rambo. By the way, I don't care for the name John Rambo either. They went with John. He should have been like, Bazooka Bob or something.
That's true. Rambo sounds like a Hispanic guy. Oh, here comes Rambo to do the front hedges.
El Rambo Show. It's a little goofy. And then the next movie, everyone loves him and he fights the Taliban or something. There's a kid involved. I can't remember.
Something. Taliban, I don't know if it was around then, but yeah. He does something. They
were the Maharaji then, I think.
Well, it takes 2 to tango in cash. But what are you going to do? So, I think they redid Rambo, by the way.
Oh, I think there's 11 of them. Rambo and Rocky are similar in that the first one kind of makes sense. Like, you can buy it. You're like, okay, this like shitty boxer went the distance. This guy's an angry veteran, and he fights a police force.
Yeah.
And then they both went goofy. But that's that's for another day and time.
But talk about a guy who milked those franchises. He's really pushing it.
Yeah, and as someone who's aging in show business, I get the milking. I remember when I was younger, you'd like, I would never, you're like, fuck that, just do it, milk it.
Milk that cow, Sly. I did a Fallon with Sly once and didn't get to meet him, but man, he's one of those guys who looks great but terrible at the same time. You're 88, you're ripped, and you got leather for skin, you got a full head of hair, but it's all fake. But it hangs on. He's hanging in there. Like, he looks terrible, but he looks great at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. It's fascinating.
Yeah, that's true. Hollywood, man. So, all right. So we go to the Yeshiva University, and the guy goes, we got a problem. And I'm like, oh, here we go. These college gigs, they're always a snafu. Every time. It's never perfect. So he goes, we want to be COVID friendly, COVID safe. We can't have too many people in one classroom. It's against protocol. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to do an hour, but now instead you'll do 30 minutes in one room 3 times.
Ooh, interesting. So different crowds.
Different crowd in 3 different rooms. So there's me and this other guy. There's 3 comics. These 2 Jewish guys, Ellie something, and this other guy. and we rotate. So we show up, and they go, all right, Mark, you're in Koch Hall. Then Ellie, you're in, Beelzebub Alley. And then Ronnie, you're in Ebenezer Dickless. So we're like, all right. And then when you do your 30, you run to Ebenezer. And then he runs to Koch, and then he runs to Dickless.
This sounds fun.
It was kind of fun, but I haven't bombed like this. First of all, everyone's wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask. No microphone. In a classroom. Every kid is acting up. They're all on their phones. I had to be like, hey, kids, listen up. What's going on? I was like hitting the chalkboard. I mean, it was brutal. I just counting the minutes, and these like Jewish gals they don't give a shit. They just had to be there, and they start making fun of me. A guy threw a paper airplane at me. I said, hey, watch it, Sonny. I'll get you. Wait till I meet your parents and all this shit. It was brutal, but it was wacky. It was like a silent film. Like, I'm running down. The other guy, he's running past me. His yarmulke falls off, the whole thing. It was wild.
It sounds fun. I mean, you get the most Jew gigs. Like Elon Gold doesn't get this many Jew gigs. You had the Long Island one, the other one. I mean, I think this is like the 4th Jewish gig.
You know what it is?
I don't.
I didn't either. I thought it was the act because I have a lot of Jewish material. I could be Jewy, the hair, the attitude, the foreskin, but it's the Seinfeld plug. That's it. I got the plug from the Jew God.
Yes, that makes sense. He's a big Jew. He might be like the biggest Jew other than Jesus.
Well, Sandler might be up there.
Sandler.
But you, comedy-wise, stand-up comedy, definitely.
Stand-up comedy, and Seinfeld at its peak is bigger than Sandler's ever been, I think. I mean, I think 90 million people watched the final Seinfeld.
That's true. Yeah, you might have something. Married a Jew, the kids are Jewy, Long Island, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably someone we're missing. There's probably what's his name? Netanyahu or Dennis Yahoo, whatever his name is.
I think it's Google. But either way, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Larry David's up there, but he's a little more niche.
Yes, Netanyahu.
Vetten. So that was a crazy night, and still waiting to get paid, by the way, which is a stereotype. But wow, what a wacky night, just running. And one room I did okay, and that was like the highlight. I left on a good one because you kind of get the hang of it after bombing for a half hour in one, running to another one, bombing, and then running to another one. I had like 6 minutes. By the third 30 minutes, I had 6 minutes on yeshiva because you're just absorbing the whole time.
Of course, yeah, and then you get more in the moment. Plus, don't you find that the more you do something, the less stakes there are.
Yes.
You've already bombed. It's like accepting your worst fear. You're like, all right, what am I going to do? Bomb? Hey, fuck you. And then you get that kind of attitude of like, oh, Look at this fucking guy. And then, that.
Yeah, the first one, you're like, whoa, this is my first. I'm in a classroom. These kids are 18, 19. They're young as hell. What am I doing? This is so crazy. It's a yeshiva. It's all Jewy. It's crazy. And then by the third one, you're like, all right, sit down. Hey, you're late. Hey, sit down. I know all their names. I'm like, hey, Clark, get over there, And yeah, I had the pointer in my hand, and I had a teacher's pet. Good times.
So do they look? This is a college, you said? Yes, university.
Yeah.
So they're collegey. Do they look young as fuck? Because I'm hanging out with my family here, and I got like a friend of my niece, and then my uncle's adopted kid, whatever the fuck. And they're like, yeah, I'm a senior in high school. And I'm like, what?
I know.
I thought the girl was 9 years old.
Right.
It's so weird how much younger people start looking. Like, I'm like, we've probably touched on this topic before, but I'm like, when I was 17, I was beating off to every girl in high school. Now I look at a high school girl, I'm like, this is appalling. You look 11 years old, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I'm the same way. These kids, I mean, there's braces, there's like weird fucked up cowlicks and, weird crustache on the dudes. It's all creepy and weird. The girls have these socks with like the frilly thing around them, with that like little lacy. I don't even know what it's called, but it feels like kids for sure.
A lacy sock sounds kind of nice.
Well, I couldn't think. It's a sock with a rim of weird frilly shit.
Yeah, I've seen that, but that's for children.
That's what I think. I saw that. I think I saw a big lollipop. One kid had a hat with a propeller on it. One kid was holding a balloon. They feel young. It's very odd. And you're talking about like, so I had a job, or I was driving a car, or I was getting my mortgage paid, and they're like, huh, what mortgage? They didn't know about TikTok and cake and Pop-Tarts. They don't know about fucking life yet.
Yeah, it's hard. You sound like an old asshole. I feel that way talking about sex sometimes with college kids. I'm like, I was fucking my wife. And they're like, yucky. That's gross.
Yeah, wife. Ugh. Get out of here, old man.
By the way, speaking of hats, when you move just right with that bill of that hat, it looks like you're like Kid from Kid and Play. It looks like a fro. Like straight on. Right there. It looks like you have an afro. Can you see it?
Whoa, it
If you
does.
blur your eyes, isn't that insane?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Everybody go to the YouTube. Somebody can pull this and put you next to Kid and or Play.
That's dead on.
Make me Play and him Kid or vice versa, because it looks like you have a fro. You look like Will Smith or some fro guy. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's wild. Holy shit. You're right. Or I look like a, what do you call those? A Shriner.
Oh, yeah, I can see Shriner. But the black makes it look, hairy.
Yeah, it definitely looks froier. You're right. Wow, that's wild. Good catch there.
Thank you. Speaking of good catches, you guys should all catch yourself some Feels CBD. Tuesdays with Stories is brought to you by Feels CBD, and I don't know if this is because I don't know why this is, but they sent me some more CBD, and I'm so happy about it. I got it. It's somewhere over here. They sent me a little vial of the CBD, and I'm so happy to have it back because I put a couple drips. I try under the tongue. I like it in the tea. Some people do under the tongue. And right away, I just feel a little calmer, a little more sleepy, like in a good way. I don't feel sedated. I just feel like, I'm going to sleep tonight. Really, it really helps me. And so I recommend getting some Feels. What is Feels? Feels is, by the way, it's Feals. Feels is premium CBD delivered directly to your door. It naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, and pain, and sleeplessness. And as I mentioned, it really does help for me because we talk about it a lot. We both have a lot of anxiety, especially for me. In the middle of the night, I wake up to piss. I want to kill myself. And CBD helps quell that a little bit. It's easy to take. Place a few drops of Feels under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes. And maybe I invented this because it's never in the copy, but I put it in my tea. And I like the taste, and it gets the job done for me. If you're new to CBD, Feels offers a free CBD hotline and text message support to help guide your personal experience. And when they sent me the thing, it's got a little booklet that tells you exactly what to use, and it's like nice. It's like a thick, cool booklet. And I know you've used this. Tell them about your experience, Mark, and how to get it.
Feels, it's the best. I do it every night. I can't sleep. I got horrible thoughts. I got demons. I got diddlers in the head. You name it. And Feels just makes me feel better. It doesn't get you high. It doesn't get you loaded. It just makes you fucking relax, take a load off. Feels has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today by going to feels.com/Tuesdays, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's FEALS.com/Tuesdays to become a member and get 50% off automatically on your first order with free shipping. That's pretty good. One more time, feals.com/Tuesdays and feel better.
Yes, feel the difference, everybody. By the way, if you want to see Mark's afro, go check us out on YouTube. We're on YouTube. You get it a week early if you're on the Patreon, so sign up for the Patreon. Get this afro view a week early. You get to comment on it early as well. Subscribe to our YouTube. Either way, if you're on Patreon or not. And while you're there, subscribe to Mark's page. Subscribe to my page. Help us out. Support us. And it's really helpful. And by the way, speaking of supporting us, this episode is also brought to you by Blue Chew, the very first chewable dick pill. We all know that feeling. I mean, it's the holidays. We're all eating extra. I feel fat and out of shape. My dick, I can't even lift my penis because I've been eating nothing but chicken parm and hot dogs and cupcakes. My family eats like shit. My wife's gained 145 pounds. My parents in the other room. My aunt is tucking us in at night. I mean, it ain't easy getting a hard on these days, especially around the Christmas season. So get yourself a Blue Chew. It has the FDA-approved active ingredients, the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take Blue Chew anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. It's fast and easy. It's prescribed online by a licensed physician, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, which no one wants to do. It ships right to your door in a very discreet package. Tell them about your discreet package, Mark.
Hey, I love the Blue Chew. I keep one on me at all times just in case my gal is looking a little rough or having a farty day. You know what I'm talking about. So you just want to have one in the back pocket just to be sure. It's the best stick pill out there. It's chewable, it tastes good, and it works quick, and it never fails. Love the Blue Chew. Right now, we got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our promo code Tuesdays. Just pay $5 in shipping. Again, that's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code Tuesdays to try it for free. What a deal. BlueChew.com. Finally, a website that can give you an erection. Woo! It's an erection year.
Sure is. Doesn't that feel like a million years ago, by the way, the election and all that stuff?
All that is a million years ago. I mean, just thinking about like the early days of the pandemic, I try to remember like May and June. It was so wild back then when you just was like, oh, this will end any minute, but what if my uncle gets it? What if my mom gets it? She's going to die. Remember how scary it was? Then Trump gets it. We all laugh.
Yeah, it's weird. And Sarah and I are in Burlington, Vermont right now. We're taking a little break from the family, and lots to talk about. But we came up here to Burlington, and I watched the news, nightly news, NBC News. Lester Holt looks like he has a ponytail, and he says, "Hey, everyone's dying." And they show the hospitals, and people got the things stuck in them and the tubes up their ass, and everybody's dying, and the numbers are just insane. And I go, Jesus Christ! All right, we got to be careful. We got to hunker up. And then, pragmatically, though, or practically, whatever the word is, not pragmatically, but in practice, whatever, we come to Burlington and we're walking around and we're like, look at this bar, it looks cozy, and there's 500 people in there. I'm like, let's go eat. And then you're sitting there and you eat, and there's the waiter's right here, there's a guy over there, there's two people over there. Same with the holidays. Christmas, my aunt and uncle come over and they're like, it's just two people, we're fine, we'll open the windows. Before you know it, we got 27 people going, we got a foosball tournament. My aunt's got me up on her shoulders, I'm sucking my dad's dick, my grandmother's sitting on my face. And you just kind of go, we'll see.
We'll see. What are you going to do? We got one life, and we all do it. We all go, hey, Bob Smith was at a party on Thanksgiving. You go, what a cum-guzzling Nazi piece of shit. We should string him up in the town square. Then you go, I got 61 people at my apartment right now. We're all blowing each other and playing suck and blow. So we all do it.
Yeah, it's like I said. And to be fair, my family, like my parents work at a hospital. My sister works with some special needs kids, so they all have to get. That sounded like one of the things we do, but she actually does. But they all have to get tested every week. My mother got vaccinated. Did I tell you this?
Wow.
My mother's like a historic broad. She got the vaccine. She grew a third tit, which is fun. You should come over. But she's
Save that
alive.
one for me.
Yeah, by the way, 0 side effects. She works at a hospital. She's like a receptionist, and they literally came down and said, hey, we got some extra. They sent too many. Do you fucking dames want some? And they all, did that thing and put their typewriters down, got the vaccine. She said it didn't hurt at all. She feels 100%, no side effects whatsoever. So she's inoculated, baby.
Wow.
Which is a load off my back because, which you know how much I like a load on my back.
Sure.
But it's nice because it's one less thing, You're like, okay,
yes.
Great. I'm not going to kill my mother, so that's good.
That's great. Wow, vaccine mom. Good for her. See, that's funny because my mom was talking about the vaccine 6 years ago, and everybody's like, is she crazy? What is she going to risk it? And I'm like, she's nuts. She's gay. And now everybody's mom is getting it, and everybody's cool with it.
Yeah, I'm a vaccine guy. We've talked about it on the show.
Same.
I mean, they can throw it right in me. I don't give a shit. But so she has that, and most people have been tested, and it's kids and yada yada. And one of the people already had it, so we feel pretty good. In the restaurant, it's every other table, whatever. But it's that thing I've been saying since the beginning. You assume everyone you know doesn't have it, and everyone you don't know does have it. Don't you feel that way? Of
course. That's human nature. We do that with everything. You're walking down the subway, you're like, I'm fine. But that guy's a rapist. And then that guy's going, I'm fine, but that guy's a pedophile. We do it all day long.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, I got home 6 days ago. Everyone's fine so far. Fingers crossed. But, man, we're going to look like real pieces of shit if my dad dies 2 weeks from now. So fingers crossed.
At least you guys will, if he's dead, you'll talk probably about the same.
That's a good point. But how about this? I just want to throw this out there. I know you have a ton, but this just happened like a half hour ago. So we're in Burlington. We're staying at the hotel where the comedy club is, the Vermont Comedy Club. We're upstairs there because it's a hotel I knew. So I said, hey, let's go there. It's nice. They're going to have good Wi-Fi. I knew we had to record. And it's just a stone's throw away from all the good stuff. And we're going to go hiking and all that shit. Nice getaway.
Great town.
So I love the town. You know that main square, the town square there? I don't know what it's called. It's just shops. It's picturesque. If you've never been to Burlington, you should come visit it. You should especially visit Vermont Comedy Club because I'm sure they're fucking hurting here. And it's a great club. Great owners. So we're here. We walk over there, and you've been there. It's picturesque, the big Christmas tree, and it's Bernie Sanders, and it's this hippie town, Ben and Jerry.
Yep.
But they don't feel to me, and I could be wrong, I don't live here, they don't feel like those pretentious fucking Brooklyn with the silly pants and the goofy glasses and the silly hat, and they're like, you can't say that, or whatever. They just feel like cool here.
Yeah, they're crunchy, but they're not in your face.
Yeah, they just feel cool. They're like, everybody. They've been doing this for a while. It's not a new thing here.
Exactly.
They're just like leftover hippie people. And anyway, so it's just a nice town. But we walk out of this restaurant. We have a nice meal. We walk out, and you just see this guy, backpack on, young guy, probably 20s, and he's got a screw loose. He's cracking up, and he's just going, what the fuck does everybody want from me? Screaming. And then he did like I think maybe the Black Panther thing or one of the comic book guys that does a big wind up and slam on the ground. Do you know that move? Isn't that a comic book guy? Maybe it's Thor.
Thor or Hulk or Iron Man? I don't know.
Maybe it's Iron Man. It's like they drop to a knee and they smash the ground, and I think something happens. I think I've seen it before. Yeah,
maybe in a video game I've seen that. I'm not too familiar. I don't know.
It might be a Mortal Kombat, maybe. It was some dramatic video gamey like.
What a dork!
But so we saw him do that. We're like, oh, there's a crazy. Let's go the other way because he's crazy. And then we go into a bookshop, get a couple books, and we come out. And now I see him. He's screaming at two young women, like Earl Weaver, like, you fucking kill, I'll fucking kill. And they're like, ooh. And everybody's kind of scattering and watching him. And we're like, this guy's crazy. He walks up to another woman and starts screaming in her face. He's like, you think it's funny? You think this is fucking funny? And she's like, And nobody's really doing anything or calling the cops. And I'll just say this, and I don't want to be controversial. This is a very politically correct show. But he's of African-American descent, and I feel like we're in this place of if you call the cops on this maniac, you're a bad person, he's troubled, whatever.
Interesting.
So nobody's doing anything, no security, no one's coming out, and he's terrorizing this little town square.
Yeah.
And so we see him over there. We got to go this way. So we walk all the way around to avoid him, and while we were walking around, he came back in the other direction. And he's like, whoa! He's like a ghost or a goblin, like a villain.
Right.
He keeps popping up, and then we see like a father and son, like a little girl, like a 8-year-old girl and her father, and then he kind of just goes into like a shell. He has a phone. He's like looking at his phone, and as they get closer, he like throws a karate kick, not close enough to hit them, but like in their direction, like a foot away from them, and they just go, what Jesus? And he's like, he's crazy.
Holy hell. So what happened?
So he's literally terrorizing, and we're like, Jesus. And so now we're like 100 yards away from him, but we have to plan our walk home because now it's hard to explain, but he's like cutting across this other grassy square, and we're walking this way, and we're like, shit. And now we look around, there's no other couples, and we're like booking it. And it reminded me of being like bullied as like in like middle school or something. Like you're walking home, and like there's the older kids, and you're like, oh my God, they're on the path. It's whatever guy.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting to the hotel safely, but this guy's just terrorizing the neighborhood. We're on a nice vacation, and I'm afraid to go back out there because he's nuts. And now it's nighttime.
Wow, you leave Queens, you leave New York City, this hotbed of nut jobs and the epicenter of Corona. You go to the cute town of Burlington, Vermont, Ben and Jerry's, Bernie Sanders. You're being tormented by a nutty comic book cunt.
It's horrendous. It's horrible, and no one seems to be doing it. And then you're like, should we call the police? Like, no one seems to be doing anything because I wouldn't mind having a cop go, hey, sir, you got to move on or something. And Sarah was like, there should be a service where they just drive you to the other side of town and like Rambo. That's why we started talking about Rambo. I just realized. And make them at least walk back or something. But I mean, this guy is terrifying. I'm looking over both shoulders, and we're walking really fast and shit.
Yeah.
He feels like a guy that wants a confrontation. Like
right.
He wants somebody to get physical so he can sue you or whatever.
Yeah, you don't, because you want to tackle the guy, but then if somebody gets a cell phone video of that, you're ruined. You're known as the guy who tackles the African American drifter.
And he might have a weapon. He might be on meth. I mean, he seems like he's on something. But he also,
for sure.
He doesn't look like a homeless person. He's got a backpack and a nice jacket, and he has a cell phone. So he's not like fully like a street person. He looks like he, is relatively functional. He's just angry and drunk, or he's on something. It's hard to describe, but he's not a homeless person. I don't think.
Right. He sounds like a schizophrenic guy, maybe off his meds, and maybe he's having an episode or something. I don't know, or he's hopped up on something. But yeah, he's a menace, and we gotta stop him. He needs to be tased. It feels like.
Don't get me wrong. I am empathetic to anyone that's struggling in this way. He's an unfortunate soul and yada yada. But I like feeling that way from my hotel. When I see him, I'm like, I hope this guy trips and falls and dies before he gets to me.
Exactly. And for some reason, the comic book movements are bothering me more than the actual tormenting. I'm like, you just call me a homo or a fucking numbskull, but don't karate kick me.
I know, and I feel for the dad, because his dad is like taking his 8-year-old girl, and I always feel like there's no recovering from that, because he threw a kick, and they're like, whoa, and the dad has to just be like, yeah, I don't know, I shit my pants in front of my daughter. It was terrifying. So, and heaven help me if I bump into it with my wife, because I'm going to throw her in the bushes and run for it.
Well, it also sounds like this guy's got a problem with the lady parts.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, that's what I suspect, And by the way, like I've taken a fair amount of mixed martial arts, so I know how to handle myself in some degree. But it makes you, don't you always wish? I wish I had started when I was 6 and I was like a 79th degree black belt, and I could just go over there and Vulcan neck pinch him, and then he falls asleep and everyone claps, and then like a woman just comes over and blows me. My wife is cool with it because I neck pinched the fucking loser.
Right. I think about that. I think that's a guy thing. Those fantasies in your head where you just go beat up that guy, and then they give you the key to the city, and the mayor eats your ass, and you're the coolest guy in town. And I asked my gal about that, and she was like, "What?" I'm like, "You don't have those?" She's like, "No. I put makeup on, I figure myself, and I go to work."
Well, I used to do a bit about it. I think it's on my album, maybe. I can't remember. But I had a bit about those people that someone tries to fight them, and they say, "Wrong guy."
Yes.
And everyone's like, "Whoa!" But I'm like, I couldn't do that. I'd have to be like, right guy, you got me. Sorry. I think that's on an album. I can't remember.
That's a great bit. I don't remember that one. But it's so true. You want to be that guy who's like, "You don't want to do this, trust me." And they're like,
exactly.
"Oh, I want to do it." And you're like, "All right, here we go."
Yeah, now I'm just hoping that's on my CD. I think it's on Are You Mad at Me? I think it's on there.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, if it's not, you got a bit to put on some wax.
I can't remember. But anyway, so that's happening, and I want to kick it back to you because I know you have a ton of shit, and we're more than halfway through.
That is tumultuous, and it's coming out. It's right outside your window, so it's looming.
I got to go back out there. I'm nervous. We haven't had dinner yet. I'm like shitting my pants.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying. Hopefully he gets tased or hit by a car or falls in a manhole or something. But,
personal.
So here's a clinker. Speaking of Jew gigs, I'm hot with the Hebes right now, and this lady hit me up, and she goes, "Hey, I hear the chosen people are all over you. Can you do a Zoom for my temple queefs?" And I said, "Yeah, hell yeah." What? She's like, "It's this much money, great money." She's like, "But it's got to be a good Zoom. I mean, ring light, Nuva ring, Bud Light, with a laptop, in a chair, delivering clean material for 15 minutes. Good audio, the whole thing." And I said, "Oh, sure, no problem." Here's the thing. I got a gig in that night. I got a gig in Royersford, PA, Soul Joel. Wait a minute. Was it Soul Joel? I don't know. I had some gig, and I don't know where it was. But it was a snowy night, and Doug Key and me are doing this gig in the middle of nowhere. And then I realized, I accepted the Zoom, but it will be driving. And she said you got to be in a good location with a real camera and a real mic and all this shit. So we go to the gig, and the whole time I'm like, "Oh, the Zoom. How are we going to do this?" We're out in the middle of the sticks doing a show outdoors. I go, it's 8:29, or I gotta go on. So Doug Key, this is what a mensch he is. I jump in the back seat. We got an hour drive. He has those windshield covers that unfold.
Oh, yeah, for the heat.
Yes, for the heat. So he's got like an SUV. I'm in the back of the SUV. He puts that thing behind me so it looks like a wall. And I just put the dome light on. That's the ring light. And I do the zoom on my phone. And at one point, I'm doing well. And the lady goes, wow, is that your apartment? That's tiny. I go, yeah, New York apartments. It's a real shoebox over here. And it worked. And Doug's giggling while driving, and I got the snow whizzing by in the windows. And we pulled it off.
Wow. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, first of all, great guy, and what a outside-the-box thinker. I mean, he's a smart guy. I don't know anyone that even has those things anymore. They're from the 80s. They used to have, like, Garfield on them.
That's what I said, or sunglasses or something. Yeah, that's so true. But he had one, thank God. He's living in the past.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And she was none the wiser, whatever that means?
None the wiser, got paid. But here's the clinker. So I forgot it was a snowy. It was the blizzard. Remember we had that blizzard a couple weeks back.
Blizzard. I mean, yeah, okay.
All right, thank you. Well, we had a big blizzard or snowy night, and I had a Soul Joel gig. So my plan was to drive to the gig, do the gig, and then do the Zoom in the green room of Soul Joel. He's got that weird building.
Right.
So we're driving to the blizzard, and it's like just light speed, when the snow is just whizzing by. And we were literally watching cars on the highway just slide off into the ditch, sliding by us. Thank God Doug's got a four-wheel driver. And it was terrifying. And I'm talking to Soul Joel like, hey, man, should we cancel? I mean, who's going to come to this? He's like, keep going, man. Keep going. We sold tickets. And I was like, So it's a 2.5-hour drive. We get about an hour and a half in. And I go, we're going 20 miles an hour here. We can barely see. All of Doug's sensors are blinking on the dashboard, like beep, 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 because they're all covered by snow. So we don't know what the hell's the car's doing. So I go, we got to turn around. So I tell Joel, hey, I don't like to cancel, but we're not going to make it there till 4 a.m. at this speed. And he goes, all right, fuck it. So we pop through the neutral ground, or the median, as you guys call it, and we turn around, and I did it on the way back in the snow, and it was... We rescheduled Soul Joel. We did it again the other night or later in the week, and it was great.
Wow, that's great. A couple things. First of all,
please.
Driving in the snow is horrifying. We had the same kind of experience on the way up here. We were driving through the White Mountains, and it was snowing like crazy, but only for a minute because it's that mountain shit where it snows for fucking 10 minutes. Yeah. But it was the same thing where they were like, hey, we can't. The car has that device that says, like, you're getting too close to that car.
Yes.
And it flicked on, was like, hey, we have no idea. There's snow on us. Forget it.
Exactly.
It's weird that the safety device shits the bed in the most dangerous situation.
It's a good point. Yeah, that's like the life raft going, hey, I'm out on my own. Fuck you guys. Like, that's what you're here for.
The water's too deep. We can't work anymore.
I saw a shark. I'm out.
But I know that feeling. It's scary. That feeling of, like, we got to cancel, and the person's like, no, keep going, and you're like, please?
Yes.
I'm going to die. And then you just want to say, similar to the COVID talk, you're like, if I spin out and die, you're going to feel horrendous.
Right. And Joel's a good egg, and he, the show must go on. Obviously, this guy's got a dome in the middle of PA that he built with heat lamps, and he's put his life savings into this dome, and it's fucking killer, and every comic loves it. Go to Soul Joel's, by the way. But he's doing the thing of like, yeah, but we got tickets, so once you're in the dome, you'll be golden. And I'm like, I know, but I might die on the way there. And then this is what got me to turn around. And I go, well, how does it look? Are you there? He goes, oh, I'm not there. I'm with my family. And I go, turn it around. He's not even there. Fuck it.
Right.
That's what got me to really pull the trigger.
Well, as everyone knows, it's one of my favorite rooms. And this leads well into this. I'll be there January 27th. So come on out to that gig and it's my favorite gig. It's the only gig that I've done during COVID that I've like truly loved. I mean, I just love that room. And speaking of things I love, you know me. I mean, you know me as well as anyone, and you know that I love Lucy nicotine gum. The company was founded. This episode is brought to you by Lucy nicotine gum. I know a lot of you guys are trying to quit. It's the new year. I mean, we're 3 days away from New Year's Eve. Everyone's going to have that thing where they want to quit something. And if you're smoking in 2020, 2021, for the God-loving sake of everything holy, please quit. We don't want Tuesdays smoking out there. It's very dangerous, and you have the right to and all that stuff, but it's very dangerous. You're going to die early. So get yourself some Lucy nicotine gum for your own health, for your kids. This company was founded by Caltech scientists who were former smokers. They wanted to create a better and cleaner nicotine alternative to help people quit smoking and vaping. It took them 3 years of research and experimenting, and they made Lucy, a nicotine gum that actually tastes good. It comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon,
triggered,
and pomegranate. Each serving has 4 milligrams of nicotine. We all know how hard it is to quit smoking cigarettes. I mean, I never smoked. My wife smoked, and she said it was harder than quitting drinking. By the way, I'm celebrating 8 years sober from alcohol today. Very excited.
Oh, yes. Congrats, Fatty.
Thank you. I know how hard that was to quit. Extremely difficult. It's still a work in progress. And so smoking, from everything I've heard, is way harder than that. It's one of the hardest things to quit. You know it. We know it. Get yourself some help with Lucy Nicotine Gum. You can support the show. Tell them how to do it, Mark.
Well, I just got to say, I never smoked, and I eat the gum just for fun, and I love that pomegranate. Great flavor. So, and you don't need to be smoking these days anyway. Come on, I get it. It looks cool, but we know too much about the negative. So get the gum and live your life. Yeah, thank you for supporting this show. Go support them. 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges at lucy.co with code Tuesdays. That's lucy.co, promo code Tuesdays. 20% off of lucy.co and use promo code Tuesdays at checkout. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, but it's not bad for you, and it gives you a fun little jolt. Check it out. You already knew that, so get 20% off lucy.co with code Tuesdays and quit smoking today and feel better.
Yeah, new year, new you, right?
Yes, here. Yeah, Soul Joel's got the best room in town, and you're going to be back there, and we did it like 5 days later, and we sold more tickets. It was for the best, and that is just the hottest crowd. They want to be there. They all had blankets, hot cocoa. I mean, those crowds are the shit. They're lunch. They just want to laugh, and they're hot.
Love a hot crowd. Love that Joker.
Yeah, I got too much. You go. I'm loaded up for bear, whatever that means. What is that? Loaded up for a fat gay guy?
I got something here that says missing a. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what this note says, but I'll just go to this because I got a lot of. I did this and it was fun. Nothing crazy, nothing kooky, but just a lot of fun. And I want to throw in another a plug on my YouTube. I put up this video where I made a Pulp Fiction spoof, and that was a lot of fun. I sent it to you.
So funny, killer.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I got these. I was on Amazon buying all these gifts, and I was watching Pulp Fiction while I did it, and it was just like these fun scenes. I love Pulp Fiction. I'm obsessed. And so I ordered some Pulp Fiction wigs. And you ever do this thing where I'm like, I got the wigs before the idea. I was like, let's just get some Pulp Fiction wigs in the house. And then I was like, now that I have these, let's kind of come up with some sketches. So I wrote and shot a sketch. It was so fun. It took an hour total. It's on the YouTube, but check that out. But let me get into the holidays. I drove up. And you're nervous, like we said. Everyone says if you go to visit your parents, you're a piece of shit, you're a fascist, you shouldn't go, kill yourself. But we don't give a shit. So we drove up here, and my niece and nephew, I try to really be fun. I want to be a Funkle Joe, you know?
Sure.
And so my niece had to go do some shit. And I just had my nephew. We're sitting in the house, and everyone's in the house, and COVID and all this shit. So we said, let's go for a ride. Me and Sarah, I was like, I don't know where we're going. Just jump in the car. I grabbed my nephew. He's 12. I put some pants on him. We threw him in the car, and we just headed out. And the South Shore of Massachusetts, if you're not familiar, is just spectacular. And
beautiful.
Sometimes my family, they go, you got to go to Maine. We got to go to Disney World. We got to fly I want to go to Paris. And I'm like, you can drive a half hour, and it's spectacular. So we went and it's cold. Everyone goes, it's cold. I can't wait for summer. I love the summer, the fall, the leaves. But in the winter, if you have access to a car or a Sentra, you get in that thing and go for a ride. You turn the heat on. Your car might not have heat. I don't know what's going on there. That thing's 45 years old. Does the heat work in that thing?
No, but the car is so old that I can feel the heat from the engine through the fucking dash.
I think that's all heat is, isn't it? It's just energy, right, or something? Is that
there
something?
You go. I'll take it. I'm warm.
Which, by the way, when I get back, we got to go for a cruise. I'm dying to cruise in that son of a bitch.
Tom Cruise, let's do it. I can't
But
wait.
anyways, so we get in the car and we just drive. We go all over Cohasset. I go, let's go to the beach. No one goes to the beach in the winter. Why no
That's
winter
true.
beach?
Yes. Well, you can't tan, you can't swim.
Yeah, but you bundle. So we bundle. We put some thermals on. We put on a couple condoms. We put on a hat. We go down to the beach, and there's surfers everywhere because they got the super wetsuit. So it's just lines of surfers, like 40 surfers in the ocean. It's
I
a
love
low
that.
tide, and the tide is like way out. So we went out there. We danced. We made videos. We did cartwheels. We ran around. So much fun. And then my whole life I've been going to Nantasket Beach, which is like this old school beach in Massachusetts. And you always drive to the beach, you park, you do your beach thing, you get back in the car, you drive home. And I look on the map, and there's an old Bob Dylan lyric, using ideas as my maps. I'm looking at the map, and I go, I've never gone further. Let's go out to the end of the peninsula. We drive out there. We just stumble upon an old fort, Fort Revere. It's like an American Revolutionary War, whatever the fuck you call it, the Revolutionary War fort that they used
Wow.
through World War I and World War II. It's underground, and there's all this crazy graffiti. It looks like where you rape kids, and
Sure.
so we put my nephew in there to see if anything happened. Nothing doing, but it was spectacular, and he's excited. And I felt like we really gave him that feeling, that bug of like you can just get in the car and go, you know. And it
Yes,
felt like
hear, hear.
like a Jedi sticking a thing up a Jedi son's ass, where you just go. Just get in the car and go after it. So it felt like service, you know. And I went, let's stop in this park. That looks cool. The sunset. Let's stop over here. And then we started to get hungry. We're on the ocean. So Sarah says, it wouldn't be nice to get fish and chips. We Google fish and chips near me. We found some restaurant. They're at 25% capacity. We couldn't eat inside. So we said, we'll take it to go. And he goes, I'll bring it to your car. So we sat out there. He brings it into the car. We drove. I looked on the map again. I'm like, let's go to, what do you call it? Town Hall. What's that called? Hingham Town Hall, which is just like their town hall. And I go, they'll be parking there. We go over there. We park there. We ate a bunch of fish. We divvied up the fried fish. I'm throwing it to him like he's, Sufi. What's that guy's name? The whale?
Shamu.
Shamu. I was tossing him fish like he's Shamu. He's catching it. I came in his face. Best day of my life. We came back, and everyone else in the family just sitting on the goddamn couch, and we had all these videos and photos, and I felt like a hero. It was so fun.
What an
And
uncle.
I won't waste all the time, but I did the same thing the next day. I go, tomorrow we'll go to Scituate, and we'll go to the Scituate Lighthouse. You just look at the maps, you find
Love a
some
lighthouse.
stuff. And we drove out to the lighthouse. We walked out to the end of the pier. We threw rocks in the water, and you can go to the beach in the winter. It's pretty nice. You just got to bundle. The ocean is still the ocean, and
Sure.
it was spectacular. Great time.
I love it. A couple things here, Fatty. I feel like you should have ironically, you should film this on your phone, but you should have a series of things to do without a phone. I mean,
Yeah,
you're so good at that.
Thank you. And that was the other thing, because he's 12 and TikTok's got him. It's got his teeth. It's got the teeth in him.
Exactly.
He's got the TikTok addiction. They get these kids. They prey on children, and all of us, but the children particularly, because at least we understand we're fucking idiots and pieces of shit, but
Right.
the kids don't even know. And he left his phone at home. I was so proud of this son of a bitch. No phone. We just had the best time. And then the next day it was Sunday, so you get the alert, and he's like, my phone time was down 26%. I wanted to kiss him on the lips. I love this son of a bitch.
Exactly. These kids, they don't know any better. They're obsessed with the TikTok and the dick cock, and it's up their ass, and they can't get off. It's like the heroin needle. They need that spoon. They light it up. They love it. It's just feeding them with all the entertainment and dopamine. You got to show them, hey, you got to live your life. I feel like, because I'm going to get really queefy here, but I feel like a lot of these youngsters, especially the males, they got no adventure in them. They got no boldness, you know? I mean, remember we used to jump off a roof and jump into a swimming pool that we didn't own and piss in it and then finger your friend's asshole and all this shit? Like, we lived, damn it. We were spray painting stuff and chugging a 40 and eating each other out, whatever it was. And you had to make fun. You got a bit about that. We're making fun.
Yes, exactly. And I told you, I've watched a kid walk up a street, like a full street, just never looking up. He's just on his phone. And I'm like, this is dangerous. It's insane. So it felt good to light that fire under his pubes, and just a great time. And again, you don't always have to, I don't know where you live if you're listening, but you don't always have to get on a plane and go and plan a big thing. You can just cruise a little ways away, especially in New England, because every house is fucking 300 years old. And everywhere you look in New England, it's like, Nathan for you died here, or whatever the fucking Nathan is. Hawthorne, he fucked his mother here, and
Right.
whoever. Sam Jackson, flew a kite or whatever the thing is.
Yeah, badass motherfucker, and yeah, then you start thinking about all the anal that these people have done, and they ate a clam once, and they fucked their aunt or whatever it is, and they had a life. All that shit happened. They called their mom a cunt, and she slapped them, and then they made up. That all happened at this spot, and that's so crazy to think about. Man, that's great. Good times, and way to live it up. Most kids wouldn't go with you, so you were persistent, or you just drugged them and threw them in the car. But either way, you got some life into that dweeb.
Yeah, it was fun, and you're giving memories. You want to be that person that's like, life was good when Uncle Joe came over and took his pants off. So,
and I'm sure he was like, oh, look at this fort. I should Instagram it. And you go, no, you fat quint, you fat kook, get out of here and just live it.
Yeah, you gotta live it. So live it, love it, queef it, fuck your dad, blow your mom.
Live it, love it, queef it. That's the next shirt. But all right, let me just throw this in your butthole and put some spit in it and see if it lets me enter. Because this is a kooky ride. First of all, shout out to Zanies in Nashville. What a wacky turn of events. First of all, a fucking truck drove through their wall and broke the wall down. I always said that place is a hole in the wall. And then you said, who's driving that truck? Tracy Morgan. And
yes.
we both put it on Rogan's wall. And I love that we both had a killer zinger. I got a zillion likes, and we move on with our day.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was exciting.
Like 2 queefs in the night, in and out, zinger, zanger, sniper, gone. Also, they had a bombing there on Christmas morning or some shit.
Jesus.
You didn't see that?
Oh, in Nashville. I see. Not at the club. I heard about that. I haven't been looking at much news, which has been delightful, I have to say. But I did hear about that. I thought you meant the club, and I thought, fill in the blank was headlining.
Oh yeah, that was the bomber at Nashville. It was weird. I was just there. That truck just missed me. It was crazy. It came right through the wall where the stage is. So show some love to the Nashville Zane. It actually hit the wall right on Nate Bargatze's face, which might have been intentional. Who knows? So Nashville was crazy. I was just there. I had the best time. I hung out with Nate Bargatze, one of the great comics, great New York pal, all that shit. Hung out with Theo Vaughn, old Louisiana cat. I mean, that city's popping. It's coming up, and Nate's like, I hope more people don't move here. I like the way it is. It's fun. We got a great club. We got a great scene. It's one of those cities. They say 200 people move there a day. It's crazy. And Chris Porter was headlining. I was doing the late shows. He was doing the early shows. So we're all having the best time. That's a great green room. It's a big green room. We're all hanging out, boozing, talking. Theo, Nate, Porter, me, the butler. And then Chris Porter goes, oh, boy, I'm in Nashville. Whenever I'm in Nashville, you know who shows up. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, take a guess, country, musician, celebrity. I go, I don't know, Clint Black, Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. And he goes, nope. And then, boom, the door kicks open. 8 guys standing there, cigarette smoke fills the room. Woo! Long blonde hair. It's Kid Rock.
Wow. I was going to say that.
Really?
Well, first I thought Alan Jackson, just because that's the only country cunt I know. But and once you said all the guys and the smoking, I thought this might be the guy, but I couldn't think of his name. I was thinking, Chris Rock or whatever. Kid Dynamite.
That's it. He comes in. He takes over the whole green room. He's got 8 guys with him in leather jackets. They're smoking cigars. They got a bottle of Jack Daniels. They punch me in the face. They call Theo a fag. We all get up. They take all the seats. They're playing spin the bottle, shooting dice. I mean, this guy just takes over a room, and I'm looking at my notes like, all right, I got to work on that Uber bit. And I'm like, I was clenching my pearls. He's saying the N-word. It was crazy. And he goes. Chris Porter goes up. Kid Rock's heckling him the whole time. It was wild. I was like, "What is going on here?" Theo is in the green room killing, and Kid Rock goes, "Who's this guy? Wait a minute, I know you. You're my sister's favorite comedian." And he goes, "Hell yeah, the Lord's with me," or whatever the fuck Theo says. And Kid Rock gets his phone out and he starts filming. He goes, "Hey," he's FaceTiming his sister, and he goes, "Hey, look who I got here." And Theo's like, "What's shaking, fat cunt?" And she's like, "Oh my god!" And it was mayhem. I still had to go on and headline. They all leave and do a bunch of crazy drugs and go to some party. It was a wild weekend.
Wow, Kid Rock is like a cartoon character. By the way, were you taken by how large he is? I think I talked about this on the pod years ago. I saw him in Washington Square Park, and I might be wrong because it was a distance and the sun was in my eye, and it might not have been him, but he looked about 6'7". Is he huge?
He's probably 6'3", might be an inch taller than you. He's not that huge, but he's a big cup of jizz, and he's an alpha. When he shows up, you go, yes, sir, Mr. Rock, what can I get you? I was on my knee. I looked like Kaepernick. I had jizz all over my lips. It was wild. It was crazy.
I gotta say, when I saw him walk through the park, and I said this before, yada yada, but I think he was 9 guys, and they were all walking a step behind him, like they were Muslim women. Like, is that part of his thing? Is that forced, or is it just by chance?
I think one's security, one's his high school friend, one's his driver, one's his lover. I don't know what's going on, but they're all there, and they're terrifying as well. And one of them's holding a baseball bat, the other one's got a lead pipe. I mean, it's no joke. I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of this, but just a great weekend. Chris Porter, killer comic. I watched his whole hour. Unbelievable. This guy's a pro. Theo and me caught up, and just a great goddamn night. Now, I know we got to run, but let me throw this nugget at you, and I want to get your expert opinion.
Okay, I'd love to do. I appreciate you blowing smoke before it happens.
Well, I know you got to go eat your wife out here. You got reservations in her clit, but let me just throw this at you. Flying during COVID, it's kooky. Everything's all up in the air, no pun intended, but they upgrade me to first class. All right, great. It's not a full flight. I get the upgrade. Hot dog. That's exciting. Now, with COVID, they board the back first.
Right.
So the upgrade is actually a punch in the balls because, the whole point of first class is you board first, you're comfortable, you get to eat and drink. Now there's no food, there's no eat, and I'm boarding later.
Right. It's a comfy seat.
True. I'll give you the seat. The seat is nice. But me and this lady are waiting. She's like a well-to-do, fur coat, nice, older, rich lady. And she's like, oh, what the hell? I have a first-class ticket. Why am I waiting? And I'm like, well, that's how they do it now. They load the back first. And finally we go on. Now, we're the last 2 people to board this plane because we're both first class. And there's no bag space.
Oh.
Because why would there be? The whole plane is on, and the whole top deck is full. And she goes, this is outrageous. I paid for a first-class ticket. She didn't get upgraded. She paid. She's like, I'm not checking a bag. And she made a stink. And I was like, look, she's a coos, but she's got a point.
Yeah, that's a good stink. I like her stink.
So I go, fuck this queef, and I run to the back of the plane with my bag, and I find one open compartment in the last possible inch of the overhead, and I throw my bag up there and run all the way back, and I go, hey, stewardess cunt. What do you say when that bell tolls, you let me run back real quick before everybody gets up? I'll get my bag. I'll be in the front. You won't even know what hit you. And she goes, you're going to have to wait.
Oh, boy.
And I go, oh, damn. So I got to wait for the whole plane to unload. Then I can go all the way back there and get all the way back up with my bag. Now, what do you do there?
Now, is it possible maybe to say, what if I tickled your palm? You go back there before you turn the unbuckled belt off. You get the bag, bring it to me, and I'll slip you a fin or a C or or whatever. Maybe is that something?
Grease her a little bit.
You grease her. Maybe
Grease
that.
lightning.
Other than that, I think I just accept and go, well, they fucked me. This is stupid. I hate their system, but I got to let go. Nothing I can do. And then I sit there and I read a book where everyone walks by. I hope there's a nice looking ass that walks by and I can get a good look at that, maybe a sniff.
Aha. Okay. Well, I don't think the grease is gonna work. This is a Spirit flight. We're at the bottom of the barrel. She's I don't think she can take a tip. But I'm crunched for time. We land in the afternoon. I got to get back home I had something like a podcast or a Zoom or something. So I remember being like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch this fat skank push the button for the bong. And right when her arm is up, I'm running back. Even though she told me I have to wait, I'm just going to run back there. What's she going to do? Tackle me? I'm going to be like the Asian guy on the plane. They're dragging me off. But I see her go we're landed. The pilot's talking about his mom and all that. Whoa, it's 80 knots towards the northwest. It's 50 degrees out. My wife's a fat hag, and I see the hand go up, and I go, click, and I just book it.
Okay, so you book it, but now you're stuck back there. You can't book it back in time, can you?
Well, that's where you're wrong there, Tubbs. I get halfway back and I hear bung, and then you hear all these clicks, click, 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 all the belt buckles. I grab the bag and I just start shimmying. I'm pushing people out of the way. The fat guy hits me. I dive into a seat. I come back out. I got the bag over my head like a Vietnam guy with his machine gun out of the water. And I get all the way back, and she goes, "Sir, I told you had to wait." And I go, "Yeah. I got a connection." She goes, "Oh, I didn't know you had a connection," and I got out of there.
The connection they get all kinds of what do you call it? Good behavior or whatever it is.
Goodwill.
The connection. Yeah, it's like the people that go to prison and they get into AA and they become Christ people and they start a book club.
Right.
They get out after like 3 weeks or whatever. You're that guy. But I gotta say, you're not gonna like it, but I'm the guy that sits there going, "Look at this guy. He thinks he's better than everybody. The rules don't apply. What a piece of shit. I hope he trips and falls and breaks his face." But I've also been the guy that says that about someone. Then they turn around and I go, "Hey, it's Steve, Big Steve." And then they go, "Yeah, I just didn't want to wait in line." I'm like, "I get it. Why should you wait in line? You're a funny guy." So
I hear you. I hear you, fatty.
I hate you and I support you at the same time.
I'll take it. That's enough for me. It was only because I waited to get on. Now I got to wait again. I felt it was unfair. I felt like I did some waiting. I can't do a double wait. I'm going for it. But it was a risk, and it was a cunt move. But my theory is no one is waiting more time because of me.
Exactly. So I understand both sides. If you were mad at them and they were mad at you, I get both sides, and that's what I'm trying to be in life. I want to be I get where you're coming from guy.
Right. Exactly. Okay, I appreciate you understanding, and that was it. I had to get it out, but we're back in the city. I'm at Side Splitters this weekend. Orlando on Wednesday. I'm doing a cheat gig there, and trying to pick up a little...
What's his toes there? The car rental guy.
Yeah, Sean.
Shaw. No, Shaw. I forget his last name.
Shaw Smith?
I think it's Shaw Smith.
There you go. Cool name.
He's a good guy. He's got good gigs. Those gigs are fun. Orlando is hairy.
That's a wild town. It doesn't get its due for there's some characters out in the Lando.
I think this Burlington guy came from Orlando. They kicked him out of Disney and he came here.
There you go.
Yeah, January 27th, I am going to be at Soul Joel's, and I think I'm going to be in Aruba, but that might not be happening now because they're not getting any people there. So a couple other gigs. Everything's been moved, but springtime, summertime, I'm going to be all over the map. But right now, it's all on YouTube and here at Tuesdays with Stories. Please go subscribe to the Tuesdays with Stories YouTube page.
Yes.
And go join the Patreon. The Patreon is fucking insane. A lot of people have asked about the video. You get the video a week earlier, and Ronan and I have been doing a full podcast that's on the Patreon. The audio is on the Tuesdays with Stories Patreon. The video's on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. We're having a good time, and there is tons of bonuses. We've done a couple Ask Me Anythings on there that are an hour long each. We've done a bonus a week the entire pandemic. Ton of guests are on there. Chris DiStefano, Dan Soder, Tim Dillon.
Yep. Nikki Glazer, Bert Kreischer. Yeah, there's so much gold on there. Ari Shafir, you name it. And, just the Ask Me Anything from last week is on there. A lot of people said, "Where's the episode?" I go, "It's there. You got to become a member. You're missing out on some gold, fatty." So get on it. Tell a friend. Queef it up. A lot of queefs. Doug Key and me have been doing stuff. You got the Ronan thing, which Salacuse is a huge fan of, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Big movie guy. He loved the Good Will Hunting one. He was quoting it all day today. We had lunch.
Oh, fun. Yeah, we really destroyed Good Will Hunting. It was a lot of fun. So go subscribe on the YouTube. Like I said, it's all YouTube and Patreon. That's the best way to support us right now. And our Patreon is $3 for the love of fucking Christ.
Best deal in town. Minimum. Hey, yes. Hot deal, hot numbers, hot queef, hot lunch. Check it out, and we'll see you kooks next week.
Yeah.
Praise Allah. Eat out your dad.